Welcome back to the next part of my let's see if I can talk for 3 hours straight to myself challenge. So last time we finished Formula Prince, the first chapter. We're now going to move on to Jazz in Time, and we're also going to be switching over to Spare Jackrabbit. Generally, back when I first played this, I remember that Spaz was the preferred character for most people in my class, and that was because of the whole double jump thing. The karate kick's kind of useless. I mean, it's decent, and it's pretty strong, but you're not going to use it a whole lot. As for story, this is where things get kind of vague, since there's no cutscenes and manual doesn't elaborate on it any further. What I have interpreted, just based on the level layout, is that we went into Devon Shell's lab in the last part. We entered, that was the final levels of Formula Prince. We escaped the castle, went across the fields, and found a secret lab. And now we've probably found his time machine, and we're going back in time now. So now we're in, like, colonial Caritas. So I think this chapter is probably the best chapter in the game, actually. This has... wow. I forgot how far those guys can throw you. Yeah, I think this has the best levels, some of the best music. Also, the stages are the most varied, I would say. Like, with the first chapter, I would say that, the dungeon and the lab are both kind of... I wouldn't say indistinguishable, but they are pretty close. They're both kind of that dark, grimy catacomb kind of thing. As you can see, it's totally different here. Now we have sewer level. That was, that's what I mean by, like, this collision detection getting a little bit wonky. You seem to be stuck in the floor there. You'll probably see other stuff like that. It seems to get wonkier and wonkier as the game goes on, so that's fun. I wish I'm getting slightly lost in this area. Because there's lots of, like, invisible holes and stuff you can go through like that. I bet it is also one of the more standout tracks in the game. The whole thing has a bit of a... if anyone really knows about the Commodore Amiga, I feel like some of the music in this has a bit of an Amiga feel to it. Like, you could see this fit in there with something like Super Frog, I think. Only Super Frog had, like, frogs broken every 2 seconds in that soundtrack. So as I mentioned, like, Devon Shell's big plan in this game is to rewrite time. So, I'm pretty sure, like, the whole idea is that this is back when Caritas was being, colonized, and instead of the rabbits, it's all of the turtles and reptiles and such taking things over. I do feel like this game kinda needed some cutscenes in it. Like, not much. You wouldn't want it to be too distracting, because this is very much an arcadey platformer, and you don't really want to have a heavy story distracted. But sometimes just, like, it's really hard to piece together how you even ended up somewhere. There's no real logical progression. The best you can sort of say at this point is just, okay, they're in the time machine, they gotta go wherever the frick they want. Like, it doesn't even necessarily seem like they have complete control over it, because they seem to keep going random places where they accomplish nothing. Oh well. I mean, it's not like Jackrabbit 2 had the most solid plot in the first place. I never quite understood why Jazz thought it was a great idea to basically give, either Yearlong a Chaos Emerald as their winning ring, because that's just like asking for people to target her and put her in danger. Yeah, okay, this is getting wonky. You can just, you know what, you're not hurting anyone, you can just chill there. There's something else that I forgot to mention in the previous part of this. There is actually another version, well, there's lots of versions of pretty much any Jackrabbit game, but there's another version of, once again, more weird collision detection. there is another version of this game called Jackrabbit 2: The Secret Files. And I do not own this one. It's even rarer and really expensive. I would like to get it sometime down the line, but basically, it is, think Ultimate Doom. It's like that for Jackrabbit. It's got one more chapter, and it's a fairly long chapter from what I remember. Like, it's actually got more levels in the chapters that are in this game. So that's nice. And it's also got a third playable character called Lori Jackrabbit, who is either Spaz's girlfriend or Spaz's sister. I was never in... Like, people don't really seem to know. And there's, like, a character in the end of this game that some people think is Lori, that I don't really see. She looks completely different to me. But we'll get to that later, when we actually finish this game. So, I really want to play that, because I have mentioned it, I think this game's a little bit too short. And, to be fair, like, complaining about length is something that only happens if the game is actually really good. Like, so many times I've played really short games and I'm just like, well, I was already kind of losing interest like 5 minutes in, so sure, whatever. But, you know, if it leaves you thinking, okay, the biggest issue I have with this is that I want more, I think it's something good. I mean, it doesn't excuse the collision detection, but oh well. Anyway, so yeah, it makes it longer, which would solve one of my major problems with this game. But also, like, some people say that the newer levels aren't as well designed. And apparently Lori is actually useless in the original campaign, because her moveset is not designed around these levels, and it makes it way harder. So that's kind of like a weird thing. It was like, would you say Secret Files overall is superior because it has everything that Jazz 2 had, and everything that made it good, plus more? Or would you say it's the weaker game because the new stuff that added isn't as good, even if you can just completely ignore it? It's a kind of a weird forge. Because, like, if Jazz 2 Secret Files was released as the first release, far more people would complain, saying, okay, why did the quality drop so suddenly? And why is one of these characters completely unplayable? Since I already know how Jazz 2 has started, and I know what makes it good, that wouldn't bother me as much, but I can definitely see that irritating other people. It's like with some of the Sonic games and stuff, like, you don't really have to do... Well, I mean, you do have to do Big the Cat stuff, but it's very quick, and we're pretty certain if you know what you're doing. People still complain about it because it's there, even if you can pretty much ignore it after you blitz through it in like half an hour at the most. So yeah, that's like considered something that lessens the overall quality of the game, and I agree, I don't like Big the Cat's levels, they're a pain in the neck and slow, even if it is over in 30 minutes. But, you know, there's other stuff that people like. I mean, even that's kind of debatable, but I like Sonic Adventure, so meh. So does having more of something that just isn't as good, does that make the overall project, or product, worse? Hard to say. The whole length thing, though, like, as I said, it only really happens if I really like a game. And this is one of, I'd say, 2 games where, after I beat it, I just wish that there was more. Oh, this is my favorite level in the game. This is Happy Heaven. And this is the level that we always played back in school. It's got this really weird psychedelic music, it's got crazy visuals. You know, it's sort of like 70s inspired visuals with a bit of Alice in Wonderland in there. This is a freaking great level. And like, you do see stuff like this in Platform with occasionally. But you don't very often see someone who goes just full out psychedelic with it, and I think that's pretty great. There's also something else in this level later that is fantastic. Going back to my train of thought on length, the other big example I could think of a game where I thought it was just too short, which, upon thinking about it, I've realised there are actually a lot of similarities between these 2 games that you wouldn't expect, but it's more just like what I think of them. Jackrabbit 2 and Nights into Dreams. Nights into Dreams is a wonderful game. Like, I think that's pretty much Sonic Team at their best. That game and Rystar. But it is also really short. It's shorter than this game. It's like 2 hours long. That's it. You get 7 levels, and none of them are particularly long. I seriously think that with Nights into Dreams, the reason that game is so short is because they put all of the CD space into just making the soundtrack. Because it is Happy Heaven, yeah, best level in the game. Welcome back to the worst level in the game, Happy Heaven. That was bizarre. So, like, I mentioned the whole collision detection thing before, and I think it's one of the really big faults in this game that makes it not as good as I remember. When I said that, I had never experienced something quite that bad. I actually had to quit the game and restart the whole chapter because of that. So I had to play for Colonius again. That is a bit disappointing. To be fair, I'm pretty sure it could happen at like any level. That engine really is broken enough for that. Here's the thing with walls, again. You can just stand on walls if you position yourself right. You're supposed to be down here, well, guess what, you're standing there. This game just needed so much more time, and it could have been one all-time platforming great. It's so frustrating. Just make it a bit bigger, a little bit more polished, a little less glitchy. No, well. The game that's here is still good when it, you know, actually works. And I still do like this level. Even if that is a very big mark against it. For my whole Nights into Dreams train of thought, I don't think I've ever quite finished. Yeah, Nights into Dreams is a really short game. I'm pretty sure that a big part of this because so much of the disc is taken up by the soundtrack. And I don't really mean that facetiously either. Like, every single level in that game has 5 variations on the music that it alternates between, depending on how happy the Nightopians are in each level. Nightopians sort of being a bit of a Child Garden kind of thing. And it's over before you know it. But it's so freaking good, and I just wish there was more of it because nothing else plays like Nights. And also, like Jackrabbit 2, I think has one of the best video game soundtracks ever made. I will say, with Nights it did hurt a lot more because it's such a unique game, there's nothing else like. Whereas Jazz 2, you know, it's a platformer, there's other things like this. Okay, that's the best part about this level. You want to see what makes this game so good? You can get high. You can get hotboxed. It's a freaking E-rated platformer where you can get high. Video games are amazing. The way we played this in school. It's just like, oh yeah, what good moral lessons you learned from Jackrabbit 2. I mean, it's kind of a power now, but you did it anyway because it was funny. You can actually shoot the stoner worm, and that will stun him for a bit so you can get past without getting stoned. But where's the fun in that? The other thing these both Knights and Jackrabbit 2 have in common is that they both have kind of wonky collision detection. Only in Knights it's more to like you just randomly slip off everything. Ah, frick. That was close. I do notice that when I do LP parts on my own, it sort of ends up randomly trailing into talking about completely unrelated games. I'll show the whole thing I was talking about. We could shoot this guy. There we go. he is invincible. You can't actually kill him. I guess the idea is he's not necessarily, like, an actual enemy or a villain. He's just kind of a nuisance. So let the guy smoke in peace. Say, anyone ever play a Perion? I'm related. No, that game had... It was like Centipede for Macross 9 with completely deranged sound effects. Like, anytime you... hi. Anytime you want to level in a Perion, it played the freaking yeah sound effects from, CSI Miami. I think that... Is that what it's from? You know, the whole thing where, like, the guy puts on the sunglasses and tells the bad pun. And yeah, whenever you die in that game, you get a game over. You get like a little animation of a caterpillar smoking from a bong, who then gives you this big cheesy grin. It's the best thing ever. There's no reason to play that game. It's just Centipede with pretty much nothing else new. But the sound effects and the game over screen are amazing. This is what Jackrabbit 2 needs for its game over screen. It just needs that caterpillar giving you this cheesy grin like, hey, you thought you were hot, guess what, you're not. I really wish I had a flamethrower right now. Wait, flamethrower. Yay. I've got a whole free ammo for it. And I'm gonna waste it all unfreezing the spring. I missed. Here we go. On the topic of the wonky bugs and collision detection and stuff, one thing worth noting about this is that there is a patch that I don't have installed right now because I was lazy. But, okay, let's be jazzed. Yeah, there's a patch for this called Jazz 2 Plus. It's more meant for online from what I understand. Because, as I said before, there's such a huge online community for this, for multiplayer and stuff. So, they made this patch to fix a lot of the glitches, make it a lot more balanced and stuff. But there's also some bug fixes, in that there's less crashes from what I understood. I've never had this game crash on me, but apparently that's big shit a lot of people had. So, crashes are reduced. It also runs at high resolution. There's like 640 by 480. I think that it can run like 800 by 600. If you have JS2 Plus installed. So I don't know if that fixes the collision detection stuff. It might do. And if that's the case, I should probably get that installed sometime. I don't know if there are like any official patches for this game. I mean, it had a website. One thing I'll show, once I finish this LP, is the screen you get when you quit out of the game. Mainly because it has its own unique music. And I think it's actually a really good track. It's like one of the best tracks in the game. And also, like, it shows, you know, visit jazz2.com for news and updates. Which shows sort of like what they were going for with this game, and what it didn't quite reach. I'm gonna be right back, but I'm gonna cut this. We are back. I quite like this level as well. Pretty much all of the levels in this area I like. And this one, the music in this kind of reminds me of Earthworm Jim 2. The music that plays when you're flying on the rocket and you have to basically bump the bomb into that hole of snot that well, Major Mucus, that guy. Yeah, you had to blow him up with the bomb, and you had to bump the bomb across the level. Terrible level, like the worst level in the entire game, but great music. Mind you, Earthworm Jim 2 had a lot of kind of weird levels where it was like, that was a game that really was like just completely changing its complete gameplay genre every single stage. And sometimes that worked out, sometimes it didn't. It did have an amazing stage where you suddenly turn into a blind cave salamander and have to fly through some intestines with like pinwheel bumpers, and it ends with a frickin' quiz show with completely illogical answers. Like, at one point I ask you, you know, what color is Earthworm Jim's blaster? And it's quite clearly red, you can see that. But it doesn't give you the answer for red, it's like blue, yellow, green. What do you pick? You don't know. What's the answer? Who knows? Or like, all the answers are funny. Really? That was an entire level? I don't remember it being that short. This is the level I think it is. No, no, while recording, I can't hear the game audio, but this is the level I think it is. This level has some beautiful music. If we're going to keep returning the soundtrack, this one has more of a... I'd say almost Donkey Kong Country kind of feel to it. Also like Donkey Kong Country, you know how like Bramble Scramble is like the wonkiest, most frustrating level in their game, but everyone loves it anyway because of the music? Yeah, I'd say the same thing about this level. These are some wonky swimming controls, and if you ever hold down the shift button, it is bizarrely uncontrollable and the momentum is so wonky. You thought I have to take this one slow. With music, that's not so bad. There is annoying stuff though with these bubble jets. I remember you can, yeah, you can swim around that one. And I'm pretty sure that's required actually. This whole level in general is just a little bit wonky. It's not like it controls badly, it actually controls pretty fluidly. But the whole momentum thing, yeah, it's kind of wonky. Like, you've got the same kind of momentum you had when running that you would if you were running and like on land. So if you're like going at full blast, then it takes a while for you to lose momentum and turn around. But I think it might actually be slightly exaggerated for the underwater physics. It's hard to say. It's definitely more noticeable. Also something worth noting, if you try to use a flamethrower underwater it won't work. Attention to detail. Can you use the ice? I don't have any ice though, who knows? Maybe. That was a close mess. Let's see if I can get that gold coin. Ow. This entire level is kind of wonky. Here's something that really does kind of irritate me. Is that if you press up, you'll immediately start aiming diagonally. If you press both left and up, or right and up, there's like a little delay before Spaff actually starts aiming in the direction you're pointing the D-pad in. Okay. There's a little bit of delay, pretty much, no matter what you press, actually. Wonky level. I mentioned, like, the first part, that the level design in general was pretty good. This is one of the ones that I think slips up a bit. And even then, it's not really the level as much as it is the controls. This is the only level like this in the entire game, so it's not too big an issue. And I think we're already pretty close to the end. I don't remember this chapter being this short. Like, the first part was a solid 40 minutes. I think there's gonna be like 30 at the most. Watch me be completely wrong there. I noticed this code here. I never actually took the time to look into this and see if it actually means something. There might be like some kind of cheat code involved in this code somewhere. Hard to say. Okay. You want to know? Okay, so like you talk about getting crap past the radar. We already had that a little bit with the one getting high. This is like the most ridiculous example of this. This boss, he is called Uterus. I'm not making that up, it's not spelled like differently or anything. It's not any kind of pun. It's just Uterus. That's this boss. We are fighting a Uterus. What? I mean, I know that I said that, you know, fighting the Queen was the weirdest thing in this game, but I changed my mind. Fighting the uterus is the weirdest thing in this game. Oh, bro. Also, invisible walls are always, you know, a standout feature to have in your great video game. The bosses are like the worst part of this entire game, honestly. So when controls are slightly wonky, but you can adapt to them. These are just like brain dead, wonky, bizarrely designed, whatever. We killed uterus. What even is video games?